Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority. 105.9 FM, AM 630. WMAL.
7:37 on WMAL. Blair Lee's on the line, weekly columnist for the Gazette newspapers and a Maryland political insider. Nobody knows it better than Blair. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, Brian. How are you?
All right. Special session in Maryland, which always means a couple of things for me. Number one, it's usually a tax increase, although I hear that they're kind of pushing that aside because they don't think they can actually get it through during the special session. Is that true?
Yeah, correct. They'll save that for January.
Okay, fine. Fantastic. That's wonderful.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, so you can go a few more months with at your current tax levels.
All right, so we're in, what, a $800 million shortfall when it comes to the transportation fund, and it's because it was used to pay for other services and programs when we went into the economic downturn, right?
Yeah, correct. In other words, the money you pay for your gas tax, registration, tags, things like that, all your transportation-oriented taxes go into a special fund called the Transportation Trust Fund, and every governor, when they get hard-pressed, raid the Transportation Trust Fund, take the money out of that to pay for the general fund obligations and shortfalls, and then they'd rather do that than cut spending.
Right. All right. So now there's talk, and I know it's not going to happen now, but as you said, it's going to happen in January, of raising the gas tax, perhaps 5 cents every year for the next 3 years. So that means a 15-cent hike on the gas tax, 15 cents more per gallon. Also,
Brian, they also want to increase your registration fees, tags, title, things like that.
Okay. So my question is, and I know it's ruled by the Democrats in Annapolis, but how will Marylanders feel about that? Will this be an easy slam dunk for them to pass a 15-cent hike in the gas tax?
The most recent Gonzales poll that came out last week, which is a very accurate poll, had overwhelming voter opposition to a 10-cent gas tax increase. Another problem that the Democrats and the governor are going to have here is that these constant raids on the Transportation Trust Fund obviously undermine the whole idea of trust. And so this commission, which is recommending the 15-cent increase, is saying at the same time we must make the trust fund into a lockbox and make it impossible to keep on raiding the transportation fund to use elsewhere.
Neither one of those terms, trust fund or lockbox, has a lot of trust in when it comes to government.
Well, here's and you're exactly right. And here's what the governor and the assembly is saying. They're saying, yes, we'll make it into a lockbox unless, of course, we declare an economic emergency, and then we can unlock the lockbox.
Well, I thought that was the rainy day fund.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think voters want a gas tax, number one. Number two, they certainly don't want it if that money can be diverted elsewhere.
Here's a novel thought. Have they ever talked about cutting services in other places?
No, in Maryland, we don't cut. In fact, the governor came out yesterday and said that Maryland's problem is that we have an investment deficit. We aren't spending enough.
All right. Wow. I think I know the answer to this, but is it possible for Republicans to make any headway out of this potential tax increase and winning seats in the General Assembly?
No, because what happened in the last election in 2010, O'Malley defeated Ehrlich by 14 points, and the Democrats who swept every statewide office now feel so emboldened. They feel they have a mandate from a very liberal Democratic electorate to basically keep on taxing and spending. They have the green light. This is what voters want. They want more taxes and more spending.
Well, and if voters are truly upset about even a 10-cent gas hike, and they continue to be upset about that, is there any retribution for the folks who voted it in? Would they get maybe primaried to slightly to the center right?
Well, in Maryland, we don't have recall. You can't unelect a voter or a lawmaker in midterm. So the only recourse is the 2014 elections. Right. But of course, O'Malley is term limited. He will not run again. So he really is a lame duck. He can do whatever he wants. And basically, the assembly is a rubber stamp. It's very important to note that this redistricting that's taking place today in Annapolis is only the congressional redistricting. It's the 8 Maryland Congress people having their boundaries changed. The important one is in January where all 188 state lawmakers have their boundaries changed, and that's the hammer that O'Malley can use to get whatever he wants out of this assembly, because the governor writes the map.
All right, so when it comes to the congressional districts that are going to be redistricted, Roscoe Bartlett appears to be in some trouble. Is that not right?
Yeah, what happened was that they are basically taking his district, the 6th district, which is all of western Maryland. Bartlett has been the congressman there for 20 years. It's an overwhelmingly Republican district. In the last election, it voted for McCain and for O'Malley, and for Ehrlich over O'Malley. So McCain over Obama and Ehrlich over O'Malley in the 6th district. The new 6th district, as per the governor's new map, that new 6th district that Bartlett's going to be in voted for Obama over McCain and voted for O'Malley over Ehrlich. Cook Reports, which is the national handicapper on congressional districts, has already changed the new 6th district from solid GOP to leaning Democrat.
All right, last question. The Black Congressional Caucus is upset about this as well. Donna Edwards is not a big fan of this redistricting as well. Why?
Okay, the Black Caucus is not upset about this. Donna Edwards, who is the Black Congresswoman from the 4th District, is upset because she's losing part of Montgomery County that she wanted. But here's the key, and this is why I pointed out to you that this is only one of 2 redistricting. The Black Caucus in Annapolis, as well as the county executive of Montgomery County, who's African-American, Ike Leggett, the county executive of Prince George's County, Rashawn Baker, who's African-American, and the mayor of Baltimore, who's African-American, all testified yesterday in favor of the governor's map, which basically makes it impossible to create a 3rd minority district in Maryland. In other words, you have the black lawmakers and public officials basically lobbying against creating a 3rd minority district in this state. It's actually quite amazing, but that's because they are loyal Democrats, and as they said a couple years ago when Michael Steele ran against Ben Cardin, party trumps race in Maryland.
All right, Blair, always good to have you on the program. Thanks for the insights. We appreciate it.